Heard about mass extinctions? The tidal wave seems to be headed this way. There was one out for humanity, and that was Nineveh, right? Now you remember the prophet of those times, when he was told to go to Nineveh, when he looked at the history and what they was doing, now this is in his humans, he was a human being. Instead of going to Babylon, he headed for Spain. That's on back over the other way. He headed the other way. That's why the problem on the ship, and that's why everybody calling out to their gods, and he ain't doing nothing. They said, they got suspects. This nigga here is the one. Let's dump him overboard. He's the problem. All of this, which they wasn't technically on that, he jinxed the ship. Okay? So, he's the one that was thrown overboard. So this is a story and it's a reality. He come to himself and he went on back to where he was supposed to go, and that's the only dispensation that was saved during that time. The only one, right? Everybody else had what they got coming, but it don't say saved permanently for a time. And it was a big joint. So that teaches us something about our attitude. We can't have an attitude like, well, we can if we want to, if you just want to be that bad. Them niggas won't listen. Them dumb white folks won't listen. Those people are so dumb. They got scientists saying that it's a situation. They got the climatologists. They got all this stuff, and it's right there. You push any button, and it comes out the same. And if they too dumb, F them people, man. That's what anybody normal would say. We don't say that. No. We don't say that because we have, so what? You're outnumbered. So what if what we are endeavored to do sounds crazy? They're crazy. Look, they ain't saying nothing. The people sitting there all this week, last week, and here come the water, right? All in Jersey, everywhere, right? You can see it on TV. They just sitting there because they don't expect nothing to come. But all that stuff from way down there blowed right up here. Now, I do in a thankful spirit because it blew right past here. You know, if you've been watching the local news, they had floods right around here, people getting killed right around. I mean, you can throw a rock to the places right around here. And I'll be doggone. Look outside, ain't nothing blowed down. I mean, stuff close by. I run in the hills a few blocks over there, and the trees, the wind and snapped them. I mean, I couldn't run my regular trails till the other day. You know why? Because the wind and come through hurricane type and then brought them down. We ain't felt nothing here. We just sitting around them. Right over there, you could throw a rock over there. Big trees. And it ain't one. It's tree here, tree there. And then I go up, I say, well, I'll just go up here and then run down. I go up there, and there's the trees. I said, man, if that wind would have came here, it'd have tore the roof off right here. Right? I'm telling you. So I mean, it's a misnomer if you think that just we sitting here at the Masjid, everybody else, I'm starting to think that we're getting a little protection. I don't know. Something was going on, right? It's drowning and blowing everybody away, right? And talking about trees, we got trees all around them, and they all fall on us. Hey man, I'm not gonna get jinxy, but I'm telling you, something is going on. Ain't nobody moving. Ain't nobody running up and down the street said, okay, we got to fix this. Congress, what do they say? Absolutely nothing. They got one dumb scheme after another. The state congressional people, the federal, all of them. They've gone. We're not crazy. They're crazy.
Almost seemed like with that whole Texas abortion ban that they timed that to kind of distract from Hurricane Ida and its aftermath.
And they're not going to stop. Look, you're not going to stop people from having abortions now. They got New Mexico right across the street. They got Oklahoma, maybe not Oklahoma, but they're going to get, well, Louisiana's next door. They got a lot of Negroes there. They got a lot, and all these Negroes talking about no abortions. Look at, I don't want to change the subject. Look at the population. When I came to D.C., biggest thing was babies having babies. Remember that era? Girls 12, 13, 14 having billions. When you stood on the street, it would be 500 people going up and down the street with baby carriages. That's all you saw. Now you can't find. You have to wait there 2 hours before someone comes along holding a baby. You go to the store. Maybe it's only old people over here or something, but I don't see no more black babies. Y'all had one, few more people, that's it. Tell the truth. And they gonna get a drink to the Latinos soon, because they still, whatever it is, they haven't drank it. One in the tummy, one on this side, one on that side, and they be rolling. You know, and the girl is 17 years old. That's in California. And then I realized, I said, yeah, in 2000, we was equal, so-called equal, 39 million apiece. Now they done double up on us in less than 10 years. Of course they would, if we're not having no children. And they having all, you know, I mean, they doubling up. All of that adds up to, we'll get back to the subject, that adds up to population shifts. White folks call it the browning of America. Yeah, it's browning. Because the white folks not having, they having less children than we are. Yep. And the Mexicans deserve it. They stole most of the West Coast, all of it, from Mexico. Reconquista, they call it, the reconquest. And they mean it too. They ain't just started talking this year. It's been the last 30, 40 years. Reconquista, the reconquest. I said, well, look like y'all on a roll. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, everything. I'm with you. Okay, now back to, you know, our personal survival is proof of certain things. It's proof of a certain type of discipline, certain type of self-control, and technically you can't become a champion by claiming the title. You got to get in some tussles. We got Negro blabbermouths all over the United States, the most famous blabbermouths. And they don't say nothing. So what we're saying is, we claiming the title. The thing about the title that we claiming, nobody wants that title. The title to challenge boss man, out in the open in front of everybody, you and me, boss man. Don't nobody want that challenge. Nobody wants it. Nobody's taking it. So it's almost a free title. All you got to do is go out and make the challenge, and you're the champ. We are the champions of this. It's our job. It's our job to do this period, and it is a big one. Are we qualified to do it? Yeah, because it's a job of managing all the resources of America. America first, and then the world. And then you got to remember, it's a gift from Allah. Why is it a gift? It's a gift because people around the world actually like Negroes. And they sympathize with us too. And that's not only darkies down the way, but it's white folks up in Europe. You know, Scandinavia, Denmark, Sweden. It's not as good as it used to be. But Negroes from here in the 50s and the 60s, them Negroes on their military bases in Germany, all they had to do was catch the train up to Denmark. And white girls, if you looked in their library, they had every black book you ever seen. When I was there, I said, something, it was not like it's funny, but I was, at one spot it was white girls and Eskimos. You know, there's Eskimos up there in Denmark. We call them Eskimos, they call them something. So Bessie Smith is way back in, but it was a white girl sitting there, and it was just, and she, they had, it was a lot of us there, they playing Baby Doll. Baby Doll is one of the old, you know, Bessie Smiths from back in the 20s. And this white girl got a doll of a monkey, and she's just stroking it. I said, this is a trip here. I mean, I understand that they like niggas in those days. They don't like them now. The government, they had a nigger named Monkey Man. I don't want to change the subject, but people want to make problems for us. The Negro could go to Denmark, and they actually are pretty good-looking white folks. They are good-looking white folks. The Danish, used to be Vikings, stuff like that. They ain't like that now. They nice, easy-going white folks. They wear wooden shoes, all that stuff. Well, they used to. I ain't been there in 50 years, so it's been a while. But they loved black folks. The biggest fundraiser for Angela Davis I went to was in Copenhagen. Cuban House. Her sister, Angela Davis' sister, was there in about 71 or something like that. And she raised a ton of money. Here's the point. And I heard it from old soldiers that had been in the army in the 50s and everything. Those white people loved black people. And you know where discos come from? It didn't come from here. It came from over there. They would play black music. See, we didn't have, every nightclub over here had black entertainers. Right, in the 60s and the 70s, we had, if you had James Brown, you had James Brown Jr., 4 or 5, and they was like James Brown. They had his hair like, and if they had the Temptations in Oakland, we had the Ballads, we had other people that, you know, in our nightclubs, they were second string. They was, If you couldn't get the Temptations there that night, that's fine. That's fine. The ballads are due. You know, that was the way our entertainment, we didn't use no disco stuff here because we had live entertainment. The Europeans didn't have it. That's why in their joints, that's where disco come from. They had to play music, our music. And they loved our music from way back. You got to remember, I don't care whether it's Josephine Baker, a Negro Baker, whether the black folks over here, when they wanted to get a little air, in those days, they had to go to France or Scandinavia. Now, France was colonial. But the Negroes had helped the French in World War I. And the Negroes had all their medals hanging off of them.